I
Okay.
got it.
Okay, I know you wanted to greet everybody and kind of give a little program announcement as to how our gathering is going to proceed.
Yes, thank you, Rabbi. Yeah, thank you all so much for coming. It is so wonderful to see all of these faces, friends and family, so many faces from so long ago and recently. And I just thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being here. I know it means a lot to my father. It means a lot to my mother, wherever she may be. I'm sure to her brother Ken as well, the rest of our family who is here gathered. My brother Jim and sister Michelle, Beth Renan. Please forgive me for anybody that I'm missing. We're doing this because we wanted to try to give my mother a brief, I'm sorry, I did say my mother's brother, Uncle Ken. I did want to, we wanted to honor my mother briefly in with some Jewish traditions. She wasn't super religious, but I know that this would have meant a lot to her. We wanted to say Kaddish. We wanted to give her a proper send-off. And we also wanted to just bring everybody together. You know, we're all probably far away right now from each other. And we wanted to have the sense of love that we feel right now. So thank you very much. To fill everybody in, my mother passed away the morning of August 16th, very early. She had fallen on August 3rd and broken her hip. She was treated very quickly. She had surgery and seemed to be doing quite well. She was in a rehabilitation center where she was working really hard and doing really well. And unfortunately, on the evening of, I guess it was Monday, her blood pressure dropped very low. And while they stabilized her, her hemoglobin was low. They had to give her a transfusion. And very early in that morning, she suffered essentially a heart attack. It's something that was inevitable. It's something that could have already been started from the fall. It was just a combination of the stress of the fall and the surgery and all of those things. We like to think and hope that, I know she went very quickly. They did everything they could, but she went very quickly. And we'd like to think that she is now at peace. There will be a graveside service. We don't know when that is. It will be in a month or two once everything is straightened away, and it will be held at the Puritan Lawn Cemetery in Peabody, Massachusetts. She will be laid to rest in Massachusetts, which is home to her, to my father, to me. And we will certainly let everybody know when that is going to take place, and that will be a larger affair for gathering in person and for more remembrances. But we wanted to do this now, and again, we really appreciate you coming. I also am so grateful to Rabbi Meyer. Rabbi Meyer was a brand new rabbi at Temple Emmanuel in Marblehead, Massachusetts, around the time I had my bat mitzvah. And my mother adored him. I babysat for him and his wife, Marla, and their wonderful children, Corey and Jeremy. And my mother sent me any article that she found about how the rabbi was doing. So Rabbi, she was sort of stalking you from afar. And anytime I went back to Marblehead or to visit my parents in Salem, she would say, "You should call the rabbi." And I should have. I apologize. I think I thought the rabbi doesn't need to hear from me. But now that she has passed, I called the rabbi, and the rabbi is doing us a wonderful mitzvah here by helping us honor her. And she would be so touched and so thrilled to have him. So thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Randy and Jim. And so you know why my family has connected with the Barnes family. I think we met through my kids. You know, it's kind of funny when you say that, but both Corey and Jeremy, and of course my wife Marla, who's working today and can't join in now, send their love and condolences. So we are going to have, as Lisa mentioned, a brief service, like a funeral gathering, because we are gathered to fulfill the mitzvah, the traditional deed of kindness that is called in Hebrew nichum avelim, offering comfort to those whose hearts are torn. And we do so by bringing words of tribute for the blessings of Arleen's life. There are a couple of prayers that we will include that are customarily recited standing. You need not do that in this setting. First of all, it makes kind of for a weird visual from the camera, but also, but if you'd like to, you certainly may. And when we do conclude the service with the Mourner's Kaddish, we'll ask everyone to unmute before doing that. It'll be a little cacophonous, but it's appropriate for that prayer. And that way we can hear one another's voices together. So we'll begin our service. We'll do so. I will share my screen, and Lisa got thumbs up that that's coming across okay. I may just make the print a little bit larger, just make it a little bit easier for everyone, especially if you're sharing a computer. So we begin with words of our scripture, and there we will find an always renewed message of God's comfort and God's presence and God's love for us, even in this day of recognizing the pain of Arleen's passing. I lift my eyes to the mountains, Esai Nael Haharim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri Me'im Adonai Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz. What is the source of my help? My help comes from the eternal God, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. Behold, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian, your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. God will guard you from all harm. God will guard your soul, your going and coming from this time forth and forever. Biblical Ecclesiastes taught us in famous words which became more famous thanks to Pete Seeger, who turned this poem into the song Turn, Turn, Turn. There's great wisdom here. For everything, Ecclesiastes writes, there is a season, a time for every experience under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest what is planted, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek, a time to lose, a time to keep, a time to let go, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. And the words we'll speak are a meditation on life and death that I thought would be appropriate for our gathering. And the child asked, "Tell me of life." And the sage answered, "Life, my child, is a mystery. We do not ask to be born, nor do we even understand the meaning of birth, of creation. We grow and we experience life's pleasures and pains. We love, and slowly, oh so slowly, we come to realize that we have become, that we are. At that moment, we humble ourselves before the mystery of life and quietly say, though I knew not, I have been granted the most precious gift of all, the gift of life. And the child asked, "Tell me of death." And the sage answered, "Death, my child, is a mystery. It is the inevitable return of the gift of life, the gift which came free to us. We live as the trustee of that mysterious being, of that unexplainable becoming. Yes, you and I are but the trustees of life. We nurture it, we delight in it, we give of it to others, and at the appointed time, we sadly, yet with pride, return it from whence it came. The beauty, my child, is that what we are, what we have become, remains long after the gift has been returned. It remains as a precious keepsake with our loved ones who live on. And that is the profound hope that we affirm, a faith that we express in the traditional words of the 23rd Psalm. And while we'll remain muted, I invite you to join in reading aloud with me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So we will again remain muted, but I invite us all to join in a moment of personal prayer, of personal silent meditation as we give thanks for the blessings of Arleen's life. Yehiu, Yehiu leratzon imrefi, v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri, v'goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Amen. We will continue with the traditional chanting of El Malei Rachamim, the prayer that Arleen's soul may rest in peace. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Ba'meromim, Hamtzei Menucha Nechona, Hamtzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, B'malot Kedoshim U'Torim, Kezohar Harakia, Mazhirim, Et Nishmat Hayikara Shalanu, Shalcha Leolama, Baal HaRachamim, Yastireha B'Seiter Kenafav, Leolamim, Vitzror Achayim, Et Nishmata, Adonai Hu Nachlata, V'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava, v'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Arleen Barnes, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And together we say, Amen. So friends, we will conclude our worship portion of the gathering with Mourner's Kaddish. Just a reminder that that afterwards, some members of the family and a couple of dear friends have been invited to share their thoughts and recollections of memory and affection. And again, anybody who needs to depart from the gathering, feel free to do so as you please. No offense is taken at that. And once we conclude the service, Lisa's going to take over in terms of moderating our gathering. So I'm going to invite everyone to unmute yourselves, and we will conclude with the choral reading of the Mourner's Cottage. Now, I know not everybody here is Jewish, and just a reminder that the Mourner's Kaddish is a prayer that those in mourning recite, but it is not a prayer about death. It is an affirmation of life, even in the presence of loss, and that in saying the Mourner's Kaddish, those who walk through that valley of darkness still are given the courage and the faith to say that life is good and that life is worthwhile, and that we will continue in the things that in life gave Arleen such joy and pleasure, such a sense of gratification, especially you who are gathered here, those who couldn't be here as well, the dear ones with whom she surrounded her life. As you'd wish, please join with me. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam v'yamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, Yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, Med kudsha b'ruchu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, amiran bi'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, imru, Amen. Useh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May God, who is the source of peace, send peace to all who mourn, comfort to those who are bereaved, gathered here on this day, those who couldn't be with us in person and remotely, and let us say Amen. I will mute you once again. Please, even while muted, join with me as you are able. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, Amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. And to those in mourning, may I offer the traditional message of consolation. Hamakom yinachem etchem b'toch sha'arav le'tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God grant you comfort and healing along with all who mourn, wherever they may be. Amen. So friends, our worship is concluded, and Lisa will take it from here as dear ones share words of affection and memory. Thank you for the honor of leading today.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Meyer. That was all just really, really beautiful. And I'm sure everybody appreciates the words of comfort and the words that you have offered today. Thank you so much. I just want to say a couple things before we start having people share their memories. We're going to have a few people who have.
I don't know why I can't get this to.
sorry, I'm just going to mute that. A few people who we have planned to speak, about 4 or 5 people, and I'll be calling on you, and you know who you are. And then once that is done, we will be opening it up to anybody who would like to speak, anything you wish to share, and just do the little raise your hand button, or we'll figure it out. You know, we're all just making this up as we go along. So I also wanted to say that after some discussion, Jim and Randy would like if anybody would like to make a donation in Arleen's name. They've chosen 2 charities. Both of them are really fantastic organizations. One is called Donors Choose, and it's at donorschoose.org. And I will put these in the chat so everybody will have access to the address. But Donors Choose basically gives money to teachers and classrooms and schools that need it. And you get to choose the project that you're interested in donating to, and you get to choose where in the United States the money goes to. And so because Arleen obviously was an arts educator for her whole life, and from the Massachusetts area, if you want to choose an arts project, it's just a wonderful organization. And so that's the first. And the second is Arleen was very, very devoted to her Hadassah, which is a women's organization, Jewish organization, for those of you who are not Jewish and may not know. She was extremely active in it, and it brought her a lot of joy. And there is hadassah.org is a website where you can go and you can donate. And so I will put, as I say, both of those in the chat function, but it's just donorschoose.org and hadassah.org if you are inclined to make some sort of donation. So we're going to start out actually with Randy, who would like to say a few words. So Randy.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Rabbi Meyer. She would have been so honored. And, you know, this may be a little messy. I know that I am a writer by trade, but this is not my finest moment. I jotted down some thoughts, a little something that I would like to share about my mother. I know for those of you who knew her, who knew me, well, first of all, as I said in my tribute to her on Facebook, my mother was a force of nature. And she and I at times had a complicated relationship, I think in part because there were some things about which we were very different. I think for a while I was growing up, we probably didn't understand each other. My dad reminded me of a funny story about when my freshman year of college at Dartmouth, I joined the women's rugby team, which is something my mother could not understand. And we were playing Radcliffe, or the Harvard women. And so I told my parents that we would be in Boston if they wanted to come watch. And it was a cold and miserable, wet and rainy day. And the A side, which is sort of like the varsity, played their game. And I was a freshman and not all that good, mind you. I was on the B side, which meant we played second, sort of like junior varsity. So after these women played this very violent game and throwing each other in puddles in the mud, they proceeded to take off their rugby jerseys, their muddy rugby jerseys, revealing just their sports bras, and give them to us, the B side, which my mother could not believe. I went out there in this muddy jersey, and at halftime, coming in, covered in mud, soaking wet, my mother took a tissue, dabbed it in her mouth, and tried to clean off my face. It didn't work. She also, to be honest, watched most of the game. She didn't watch most of the game. She went into the car. She just couldn't stand to watch it, and it was fairly violent. But as through the years, I think my mother and I both did a lot of growing, and a lot of growing towards understanding each other. I do think she mellowed with age, but it is also quite possible that I did too. We had really gotten to, I think, such a good place where we knew the love of each other. We knew that we loved each other. My mother expressed pride in me and gratitude for me, for which I am so grateful. And, we both expressed our love for each other. And I could tell when I arrived here on Sunday to see her in rehab, I was going to help my father bring her home on Sunday and help him with that transition. The look on her face and the gratitude that she expressed, I think she knew too how much I loved her. I was speaking to someone recently, yesterday, who had also lost his mother not that long ago. And he said, one of the hardest things is the unfinished business that you may have, those words that don't get expressed. If you feel like you didn't tell them enough that you loved them or that you appreciated them. And I do have to say that I feel incredibly fortunate because I don't really believe that my mother and I have that kind of unfinished business. The unfinished business we have is a card game we started Monday morning. I taught her how to play a game that my in-laws play. It's called Ratfink. And she not only picked it up, but she won the first 4 rounds out of 7. And we put it on hold so she could take a nap. That card game is our only unfinished business. And I concede that game to her. She most definitely won. So I would just like to express my love for my mother. Thank you all for coming, and just give her best wishes for her journey wherever she may go. Good luck to the people who receive her there. I hope they keep things nice. And thank you so much for coming. I love you, Mom. I think my father, I don't know if he feels able, would like to say something as well.
I want to echo some of Randy's sentiments. I want to thank all of you for participating in this. I am blown away by this outpouring. I want to thank my brother from another mother, Ken. Randy, who has been my rock, along with Michelle and Jimmy. It has just been, oh my God, I cannot believe it. We would be married 51 years Sunday, the day we were supposed to take her home. I will not get that opportunity, but I want her to know how much I loved her. We argued, we yelled at one another. Who doesn't in 51 years? But we always loved each other, always. I would sit here watching TV with her. And the moment I got up, she would say, Jim, will you get me such and such? And I would say to her, have I told you yet today? She said, yes, you have. I'm a pain in the ass. And I said, but you're my pain in the ass. And I'm going to miss her so much. Thank you all. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim and Randy. That was really lovely. And I know this is so hard. And everybody here loves you both very much. And thank you for sharing that. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next person, Herbie Coopersmith. If you want to go ahead and unmute and share your thoughts with us.
Hey, can I speak now?
Yeah.
This is a very, very difficult time for everybody who's there. I first met Arleen at the YMHA in Chelsea. We went to different junior high schools.
That's Herbie? That's his wife?
Yeah. Went to 2 different junior high schools. In a world of takers, she was a giver. She was a wonderful, wonderful person. If it wasn't for her and the parties that she ran, my class of 1957 would never have had reunions. She would book appointments for people, help people. And it's amazing to me, in a world of takers, she was a giver. It's so difficult to talk about her, as she's not here anymore, as I spoke to her 2 days before she passed away. She was a wonderful wife and a phenomenal mother and a very, very wonderful, wonderful friend. She gave. She did it because she wanted to do it. And every reunion we went to, she had a big part of it. I feel that I was very, very privileged to know her. And I loved her. And I would assume that everybody that's sitting there and on this night and day have the same fond memories as I do. Jimmy, and who I call Rambo, I wish for you what you wish for yourselves. And thank you very much for allowing me to speak. And God bless you.
Thank you, Herbie. Appreciate those words.
And I assume you don't know her.
Is Fred Sinella, if you'd like to say something? Is Fred here?
Yes, thank you. In honor of Arleen, I'm taking credit through Randy for even able to Zoom. I'm not the most mechanical person in the world, but I would like to acknowledge Arleen's existence in my life for over 60 years, and nothing she would not do for you if you asked. So it was odd for our 60th reunion. We've always planned them together, Chelsea and Revere. So she asked a favor of me with that little twinkle in her eye, knowing automatically it was a given, but I let her squirm a little bit. She had booked the Kowloon restaurant for Chelsea's 60th reunion and could not make the mandatory commitment. So she asked where I was planning mine if I would join with her and Chelsea. So lo and behold, we acquiesced to her request. And I think that's the day the earth stood still, when Chelsea and Revere both had their 60th class reunion together. And only somebody of Arleen's composure and understanding of human life could put it together. So with that said, Arleen was very integral in my educational background. We were professional educators together. We could confide in each other. She will be missed and she will be loved. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you so much for speaking. Ruthie Rhinus, would you like to say some words?
It's wonderful to put faces together with names, because I've learned all about so many of you over the years since I met Arleen. When I saw her Monday afternoon, I walked into therapy and I said to the therapist, "I'm her sister. Can I stand here and watch?" She says, "Oh, you can help me." So with every time, the therapist basically said to her, "You can do 2 more." And she said, "No, I can't." And I looked at her and I said, "Yeah, you can." And she did. And she looked at me and she said, "You know, you've always been my hero." I said, "You've always been my sister. Do it." And it worked. I spent quite a bit of time with her on Monday afternoon. So, of course, like everybody else, I was in shock when Jim left the message for me on Tuesday morning. Arleen was definitely a giver. You're right, Herbie. She was a volunteer. I met her through Hadassah. We clicked the minute we met. And we worked on so many committees and so many skits that we put together. And we just meshed. Jim and Arleen hosted me up in Massachusetts several years ago. That was a highlight of my life. It was wonderful. Right, Jim? I tasted lobster rolls, the real ones. Hey, he's smiling. That's good. I will miss my dear friend, my sister, so much. It's like I said, it's very good to put the faces together with the names. Ken and Janice, my condolences to you. Jim and Randy, the best. Thanks, Lisa. Good to meet you.
Thanks, Ruthie. It's great to meet you too. I want to just say a quick thing myself. Actually, I think everybody here, a lot of people here, actually, a few people didn't really know Arleen. They're here for Randy, and that's really lovely too. But I want to just say, Arleen really was a force of nature. She was a very big personality with a big heart, and she's I remember when we were getting married and she got very involved in all the details, and she had a lot of ideas because of course this is what she did. She's an artist and she's a creative person. And I remember in particular, she was very exercised about whether we were going to have table centerpieces. And there was a lot of discussion about that. And I, had never gotten married before, and I'm not a big party thrower. And I just sort of said, why do we need table centerpieces? And boy, the look I got, she was just aghast. Why would you even have to ask why you would need table centerpieces? And I want to tell you, we had the most gorgeous table centerpieces. They were absolutely exquisite. She did so much to make our wedding amazing. And trust me, I needed the help. We needed the help. So it was really lovely. She was just a big, big hearted woman. And I am eternally grateful to her for having given me Randy Barnes. And I just love this whole family, and I just so appreciate being embraced by all of you. And it is wonderful, as Ruthie, as you say, to see everybody and see your faces. And it's just really wonderful. It's a beautiful, you can really tell the measure of a person by the fact that there's pages and pages of people here who are going to miss her. She really was a very special person. Jimmy, do you want to say something? Brother Jimmy? I think you're
Hello.
muted if you're talking.
I
There
am
you are.
myself. Hi. Yeah, like everybody has said, Arleen was, Arleen had made a tremendous impact with I can't do this. She made a huge impact with my life. I could have gone into so many different directions, and I probably went in the complete opposite direction that she really wanted me to go in. But she was always there. She taught me, she bought me all my crayons and paints and papers and easels, and we could just paint for hours downstairs in this, little art room that she created on Reservoir Ave when they lived in Revere. And I just hope she knows that I really loved her. I don't think I told her, she was really, really quite special to me. I mean, she didn't even have to do any of that. And she did. Even like you said, with the wedding planning and everything. When Danny and I got married, I picked out an invitation, but she liked her version more, and she just told me that my version was discontinued, and we went with hers. And you know what? They were beautiful invitations. I mean, she calligraphied all the envelopes. I mean, it's amazing what she did. I'm gonna miss her. And I did tell her that I loved her when I called her. She sounded great on the phone. She sounded amazing. Whatever they were giving her, I wanted. Whatever they were giving her, I wanted them. I mean, to all of you, I want all of you to know how special you are to me, because you're special to her. And I can't believe you tricked me into speaking. And I'm gonna miss her. Really gonna miss her. And thank everybody. I want to thank everybody. And I appreciate everybody for just accepting Danny and I into the family. I mean, it's hard, you know. Generations are different, you know. It's very difficult to accept different things, especially, you know, 20, 30 years ago. But, you know, she embraced me. She embraced Danny. We've had our ups, we've had our downs. We've had, you know, arguments. We've had lots of laughs. I do regret that she thinks that I tried to steal her napkin rings when I never did. It's a private joke, but I'm sure somebody will tell it, or people that have been there at Christmas time. She was always hiding the napkin rings because she thought I was going to take them. I'll miss her. I'll miss her a lot. Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, brother Jimmy. I heard you did actually steal those napkins.
The word is out.
Which is-
You know, we can, it's fine. It's all water under the bridge. I just want to say too, though, that Danny, you're like appearing and disappearing in a really fascinating manner there. Yes. Oh, there we are. Okay, good. And Danny and Jimmy, thank you for paving the way early on for Randy and me, because that was very helpful. So I appreciate that. And I want you to know I love you. So, Michelle, would you like to say some words?
Can you hear me? Can
Yeah.
everybody hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
I'm not sure I can get through this without crying even more than James just did. As everybody has said, and if you know Arleen, you know that she was a force. And Jimmy and I were talking is that we can't remember when we met Arleen because we were babies. I mean, I think Jim and Arleen started dating. I was 2 or 3, maybe. So she's always been in our lives. And, you know, it wasn't always easy in the beginning as our separated, you know, families didn't always see eye to eye, and mothers and stepmothers. And, you know, this dynamic that we had was sometimes very fraught with, you know, things that weren't so pleasant at the time. But, you know, over the years, we, you know, realized that we, you know, we were a family. We loved each other. And there came a time where my mother and Arleen and Jim could be in the same room together without killing each other or and I think, you know, as Randy said, I believe that we all sort of mellowed a little bit with age and were able to get together and you know, talk about life experiences and joys and books and I just, Arleen was a big influence on a lot of us as far as our artistic endeavors and just, you know, putting things out there and making suggestions on what she thought, you know, you might want to do if you wanted to get into an art school, or, you know, me with my photography and all that stuff. But you know, she really was an incredible person who, you know, was sometimes difficult. But, you know, that's one of the reasons we love her. You know, she's definitely tested a lot of us in many ways. And, you know, when you can be tested and, you know, disagree and still, you know, have that underlying love for a person, you know, that it's, you know, their family. That's what families do. We, you know, we can argue and fight and still know that we all love each other. So I, you know, really wish I could be down there with Jim and Arleen and Jimmy and but we will see you at services here, and you know, sending my hugs and condolences to everybody who's lost, and, you know, Ken and Janice and our extended family. I think Rachel's on here, and Stephanie, I'm not sure. But I look forward to seeing you all, so we can hug and tell more stories of Arleen and what she meant to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Michelle and Jimmy, you guys really are just great family. It's been, I don't know, I'm so appreciative of you both, and I appreciate you offering your memories of Arleen. That's who we had sort of pre-planned for speaking. So if somebody would like to, if anybody would like to offer their memories or say something, just to use the little, oh, here we go. We have somebody's hand up here. Dorothy Klein, I'm going to unmute you. Oops, sorry. I just muted you again. There you go. If you could unmute. Sorry, Dorothy, you're muted. Can you just
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi, I'm a more recent friend of Arleen and Jim. I probably know Arleen for 15 years. We were both volunteers for Hadassah organization, and I have to tell you, her talents went with her throughout her retirement. First of all, she stepped in as our chapter president. We were lacking a president, and she just zoomed in and led us forward. And she led us into the 21st century. For most of us, we didn't even know what Excel was. And she printed the entire membership list on Excel. Nobody had 11 by 14 paper in their house. I had to run to Home Depot and make membership lists. And yes, talking about her artistic talents, when we had her gala luncheons, yes, Lisa, there were centerpieces made by Arleen every year for our gala, and our tables, she wrote them such pretty programs, artistic and just everything. She really helped make our gala very successful, and we will all miss her talents here at Oceanside Kiryat Yam. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. Sorry, am I still muted? No. Thank you, Dorothy. And can you say again, actually, the name of the chapter of the Hadassah, so people will know? Is there a way to give directly to that chapter?
Yes. I could put the treasurer's name, and you can send the checks to the address.
Okay.
I could do that.
Great. Yeah, if you want to type that into the chat, that would
I
be
will.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Dorothy.
Okay.
Phil,
Lisa,
Eleanor. Yes.
Lisa, I spoke to Jim and Randy about this.
Yeah.
And Randy, did you want to tell everybody about the Hadassah tribute? What we discussed?
Oh, you go ahead. I mean, we just wanted, yeah, you go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Because Arleen was so interested in children and youth and the Ukrainian cause, Hadassah has a very large program called Youth Aliyah, which started during the war, World War II, and it's continued to rescue children all over. And now the Ukrainian kids in need are being taught how to get along with other people, how to live, how to educate themselves. And this particular project apparently is what Randy and Jim spoke with me about. If that's okay to say it, and I'm going to put in the chat room, I can put the address of the Florida Hadassah office, so that any donations that do come through to Hadassah will be for that particular project.
Oh, that's great, Ruthie. Thank you. I appreciate that. And actually, I remember now Randy did mention something about the Ukrainian kids. And so I think that's wonderful and apropos for so many reasons. So, okay. Thank you, Ruthie.
She'll teach them how to be artistic, for sure.
Yes. Phil Ellerin, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Jim, Randy, Barbara and I send sincere condolences. We're so sorry. I jotted down a few notes about Arleen and myself and our past. And for those of you who knew Arleen, she bristled if you didn't spell her name correctly. To be a real friend, you had to know she was Arleen with double E's. I met Arleen in the 2nd grade in Miss Mannion's class, and we never left each other's sight, educationally that is, for 9 more years until high school, when everyone went their separate ways. In those days, the same group stayed together until the 10th grade, fostering close relationships. Early on, Arleen showed a talent in art and went on to get her degree at Salem State College. I continued to see Arleen and Jim professionally after opening my dermatology practice in 1972. And of course at reunions, and as Herbie mentioned, which Arleen was the chief honcho. She single-handedly glued our high school class together. She lived for reunions. She was the queen of reunions. Later, she relinquished her role to Herbie Cooper Smith, who, as many know, became the king of reunions. Murray Frank was the reliable court jester on the committee, always ready to help. And I was her occasional sergeant at arms. Just a few months ago, we were chatting on the phone about her sidekick and lover of her life, Jimmy, and her wonderful Randy of red carpet fame. Arleen would periodically bring me up to date about Randy's latest Hollywood or TV accomplishments. She was a proud mama. We started reminiscing about our favorite teachers, and we both chose Miss Mary Mannion, who seemed to have a special spell on many of her students. Arleen always had a big smile if you were from Chelsea, and God forbid if you weren't. You had a lot of explaining to do. She had numerous school friends, and I'm sure she tolerated her new Florida friends who would have loved her if only she had given them a little more time. Arleen will be missed, but we who knew her consider ourselves fortunate to have had her in our lives. Thank you for this opportunity.
So much for those kind words. Would anybody else like to say something?
Not coming through.
So yes, we can't hear you. Oh. Thank you, Phil, and thank you everyone so far.
Am I still muted or?
Now it's good.
Now it's good. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate that. If anybody else would like to speak. Marcia Bloomer. Just unmute yourself and great.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everybody. I would like to just say that unlike most of the people here, I did not know Arleen. I knew of her. I used to meet her in the corridors of the Chelsea nursing home when our mothers were both there. But my husband, Michael, who's on a different screen, he's in the other room, and I are here because a very, very old dear friend who we love very much, Ken, and his wife, Janice, are hurting. And we are here to give them some comfort and to let them know that we love them. We go back a very, very long time. Michael and Ken were very, very close friends. And I just wanted to know them to know that we're here And we feel for you and give you our deepest condolences. And there are a few other people who are on here that I'd like to say hello to. Phyllis and Loretta and Judy. And unfortunately, it's nice to see you, but unfortunately, in these circumstances, it's good to know that we still have people who we love and mean so much to us for so many years. With love to all of you. And may her memory be for a blessing. Ken and Janice, we love you very much.
Thank you, Marcia. And I want to echo that too, Ken and Janice. We really do love you so much. You guys are just such a wonderful mainstay and such a beautiful couple and wonderful part of this family. And I just, I really adore the two of you. So, and I'm sorry, I know that it's so painful and I know you're hurting and everybody's hurting, but it's really wonderful to see you. Would anybody else like to say anything? Ruth Rooks? Just unmute yourself if you could. Thank you.
When I received Randy's announcement of this funeral today, it came as a huge, huge shock. I just couldn't believe it was happening. I had lost touch with Arleen over the years, but I wanted to just say how we met. And it was exactly 53 years ago. Well, maybe a little bit more. I was looking for a job as an art teacher. I had been an art teacher and I had lost my job, and someone said, call Arleen Barnes. She is supervisor of whatever school district it was, and she lives in Marblehead. So I called Arleen Barnes, and I don't know how it actually started, but I told her I had begun teaching in Revere. She said, well, I was in Revere. I said, I was there a long, long time ago. She said, so was I. And we talked about the fact that I taught, she said, I was there when the school burned, after the school burned down. I said, I was there when it burned down. As it turned out, I had to leave the middle of the school year because my husband had a job in Delaware and we moved there. Arleen Barnes took my position. Then we started talking about who do you know and who don't you. And one thing led to another, and it turned out that I knew someone that she knew, and that someone had a birthday coming up, and Arleen says, I said, we share birthdays. She said, in August. She says, my birthday's in August. And so when is your birthday? Well, I've got a special birthday. I said, mine's a special birthday. As it turned out, Arleen and I had the exact same birthdays, and we're the exact same age. I don't know when, it never got there as to what part of the day she was born, nor did I ever find out what part of the day I was born. But from then on, 33 years, 33, yeah, we refer to each other as twins. So this past week, I lost my twin, and I feel I haven't really recovered. The reality hasn't set in, even though it's been a while since I have seen her. And Randy, every time I did see her, she would go on about you, bragging and so proud of you. She thought you were just the best. Everything you did. I don't have children that could compare. I'm sorry. I try. Anyhow, she was so proud of you, and it was such a nice thing. That's it.
Thank you, Ruth. That was really lovely, and I'm so sorry you've lost your twin. Yeah, it's a shock. It really is. But I appreciate you sharing all of that. Ken and Janice, would you like to say something?
I just want to thank everybody for their participation and wonderful words, particularly you, Lisa, Randy, and Jim for putting up with this. Wonderful, wonderful tribute to my sister, and her memory should be for a blessing for all of the contributions that all of you that participated today have afforded her. I thank you all. I thank you all very, very much. There's a lot of love running through this service. I share it. I take it. I give it back to all of you. Thank you all for being there. It's a wonderful tribute. May her memory be for a blessing indeed. We love you very much, all of you. Thank you. Not hearing you,
I think
Lisa.
you're muted.
Not hearing you, Lisa.
Lisa, you're muted.
All right, how about now?
Better.
We're good? Okay, sorry. I keep unmuting myself, but for some reason it doesn't work. But thank you for that, Ken, and we love you too, and we love you too, Janice. I think Judy Shevchik Carl would like to speak.
So when Kenny called, I don't know why, but I had a premonition. I knew Arleen for only 75 years. Our mothers were joined at the hip, and Arleen was my older sister, and Kenny, my older brother, but younger than his sister. We were together as children, and I'm sure that both of them had to change my diaper and my brother's at some point in time. She, listening to all of you, it's like listening to stories about Rose. They were both women who gave so much from the heart, but with such compassion, and that I think sometimes it was misunderstood because they never meant to harm anyone. They were just the most loving women. And I think Marcia Blummer and I are probably feeling like peacocks because both of us are very involved with Hadassah as well. So it's nice to know that through the Chelsea blood, that a great organization wasn't just our mother's organizations. Kenny, I'll see you soon. And oh God, Janice, if you don't make cookies, I'll be very upset. So please, her memory is for a blessing. Love her very much.
Thank you so much, Judy.
Thank you.
Only 75 years, huh? Wow.
Only. That was it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Jamie Bedrin, I see, has her hand raised. Hi, Jamie.
Hi. I'm sorry for the background noise. We have some construction going on in our house in our neighborhood. I'm in Montclair, New Jersey, and there are several of us on the call who went to college with Randy and met our freshman or other year. And Randy, when I saw the Facebook message, I really was shocked. I think I just sort of like, your mom was just one of those people that you kind of thought would just be around forever. And there's so many times I think of your parents, always, whenever I hear anything about Marblehead or Revere or just Massachusetts. You know, it was a long time ago, but you guys had me for Passover one year. I think that your Aunt Janice and your Uncle Ken and maybe your cousin Stephanie was there. I mean, there's a long, long time ago, but you know, it's hard when you're young and like you meet your friends' parents and then suddenly they're not there. It's, you know, it's meaningful because you have these memories of them sort of associated with your friends. And so, you know, even though I haven't seen your mom in years, just letting a truck go by, even though I haven't seen your parents in a long time, like the memories still seem so fresh. And while it's bittersweet, it is somewhat comforting to think that you know, they really made an impact, whether that was on campus or during a visit to your neck of the woods. I don't know, something about like New Jersey people being in love with like Massachusetts. I finally have made it to Cape Cod, and now I know why everybody you know, loves it so much. So I'm so sorry, and I'm so sorry that it happened in such a way that I'm sure there's still an element of shock, but I am thinking of you, my parents and their love as well, my brother and Lisa also. Thank you for everything that you've done for Randy and the family.
Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate that. Would anybody else like to, yes, okay, Yael Kupikdar, and I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but
Hi, I'm just gonna say that Arleen hired me back in like 1990, was it 95? Jim, I don't even remember, mid 90s, as an art teacher. It was like, she was like a mother to me. Sorry, Randy, but I remember being in tears saying nothing's good enough for you and then crying and hugging her. So she really made her work, and so many laughs. I still sometimes chuckle, Jim, thinking about some of our staff meetings and how hilarious. I mean, just laughing to the point of tears. So I know, Randy, where you got your sense of humor from your parents. But I just have so many fond memories. So Stacy D'Amico, who we were all in the art department at Revere, texted me this. I was really shocked. And, you know, I'm just so grateful for her really helping me start my career out as an art educator, and also being a mother figure for me at work, and for embracing her employees as family. It's really nice to see you both.
thank you so much for that. It's really lovely. Would anyone else like to say anything? Thank you all for coming. This is it's just so wonderful to see so many faces of people.
Lisa, I saw
Yeah.
Irene had a hand up. I don't, she was raising a hand. I don't think she was using
Oh,
the.
I see. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Alex. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Okay. Hey, Irene, sorry about that. Yes, go ahead. You're actually muted, Irene. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, I still have the sign in front of me. Well, I know, excuse me, I'm really shaken up by this. But Arleen and I have known each other for many, many years. We were trying to figure it out the other day. My mother-in-law, my husband's mother, and Rose were very good friends. And Arleen, of course, knew my husband, Alan. And she actually babysat for my husband, Alan. And she lived in my house while she was dating Jimmy. And we've just had such a wonderful relationship. It's just such a shock to me that she's, that this happened. And when Jimmy called me, I couldn't speak, nor could he. And Randy, I've known you from the day you were a seed in your mother's belly. And Jimmy and Michelle, when you were growing up, how much fun we used to have. Used to come to my backyard with the pool, and we just had such a wonderful relationship. I'm going to miss her. We played mahjong together, and hopefully I'll meet her again. And Kenny, I send my love to you as well. And Jimmy, my heart breaks for you, and I will be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Irene. And yeah, Jim, we are all here for you, and it's just unimaginable and so hard, and we just all love you to pieces, honestly. You're just the best guy, and you were the best husband that she could possibly have asked for. You're just a wonderful father-in-law, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate you. So, Norma, would you like to speak? Norma, you might be, there we go.
Okay. Warren and I are so shocked. Although we didn't know, we're not from 75 years ago. We are 75, but we're newer friends, but it doesn't matter. You're older, you're newer. We were wonderful friends and had many wonderful times and cherished them both and do cherish them. And we're really send our love to you all. Yeah. And so sorry.
That's all.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. We're on the Cape Cod right now, but we'll get to see you soon in Florida. We'll be down there in a month. Take care. And our deepest condolences. We love you, buddy. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Norma and Warren. It's great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Lisa, Alex had her hand up before.
Okay, Alex.
I think I was just trying to share that somebody was waiting to speak, but I will say, Randy, we love you. Randy's a friend from Dartmouth as well, but Randy and I also moved to California together right after college. And it was always just such a treat to have Arleen and Jim visit. I think when you're 22 and on your own for the first time, it's just so nice to have parents around. And whenever they would come and visit, it was like a little piece of home and a little piece of like somebody taking care of all of us. And I believe there was a trip that Arleen made to LA to see a Barbra Streisand concert, which was, I am sure, a life highlight. And I just liked kind of being next to her, hearing her talk about like how amazing it was. And I remember a lot of stories like that, where it was just fun to listen to her talk. And I think Lisa talked about the wedding centerpieces. And I always think of Arleen as she knew all the details about everything. She could tell you what the food was served at the party. She could tell you what the decorations were, what everybody wore. And that was just, it was great. And it was who she was, and she never missed a trick. And I just really enjoyed having her as kind of another mom over the last, oh my gosh, like more than 25 years. And I'm really so sorry, Jim and Randy and the rest of the family and Lisa, who's doing a fabulous job with this hosting. I don't know how else to say it, but thank you so much. And I'll really miss Arleen and Randy and Jim. I'm so sorry.
Thanks, Alex. And yeah, I was really relieved that our wedding passed muster with Arleen, but the truth is the reason our wedding passed muster with Arleen was because of Arleen. So she's really the one who made it really incredibly special. So yeah. Yeah. Would anybody else like to speak or say anything? Or honestly, at this point, if you just want to shout out, that's fine. Seema, you are muted actually. Let's get you unmuted.
Okay. I met Arleen and Jim when they moved into Freedom Hollow, so I don't know them that long. I don't have a history with them, but I just want to say Arleen was quite a remarkable woman. When she set her mind to something, she got it done. And I'm so sorry, Jim and Randy, for your loss. And Randy, I'm sorry we have to always meet on these unfortunate circumstances, but I wish you both all the best. And Jim, I'll be speaking to you about our aches and pains. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Hello?
Thank you, Seema.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, hi. My name is Jim Griffin. My wife and Cheryl are here. Just Jim, Randy, sorry, this doesn't cover it the way we feel. We were fortunate. I was very fortunate to meet Arleen. I was one of her students, not a good one, but a student. And many years later, I met Jim on a golf course, and Jim and they adopted me into their family of friends, of which I've been part of for the last 15, 20 years. And we've had so much fun over the years with going out to shows, eating, and of course, it was a regular routine New Year's Eve. And to come to this, and speaking to Jim a few days ago, told me Arleen was doing better. And boy, I'll tell you, I just found out this morning, and I'm just in a fog. I wish I was there to give you a hug, because I certainly need one. You guys just great guys, and Jim, we'll see you soon. But God bless you and stay strong.
Thank you, Jim.
Uh-oh. What did I do?
Anybody else like to speak up?
Hi, this is Darlene, and I'm not like a long lost friend. We've been friends, I guess, a long time, about 40 years. Jim was my algebra teacher, and really Arleen and I got friendly when Randy was going to Tower School. Her friendship to me was unconditional. I wrote it in a chat because she used to often say to me kiddingly, you know, the phone works both ways, but she loved me anyway, even though I was not necessarily attentive. But she was great. I loved her, loved Randy, loved your marriage to Randy, loved Jim. Jim was my algebra teacher. And it was just a wonderful family, and my heart goes out to both of them. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. I love that in this gathering, it's, you know, well, I've only known her 40 years, you know, that's a new friendship.
It is.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, again, it's the measure of a person. I mean, these lifelong friendships, it's really inspiring. It's really touching. Yeah. Anybody else?
Lisa, I thought perhaps you were going to say that you loved in these tributes all the Boston accents.
Well, I do also love that too. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Randy, no comment.
That's great. Yeah. But you don't have one. It's mystery. It's the mystery that'll never be solved.
It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh, brother Jimmy.
Chalkboard, Jimmy.
Lisa, I want to jump in if I can. Talking about accents. I remember that both my daughters, for whatever reason, included the letter R in its proper place when they spoke. And my sister always used to accuse me of raising two snobs that could speak better than her, better than she.
Better than she.
Obviously,
there
her
you go.
English is better than mine as well. So I wanted to throw that in there as well. But yeah, she would give me a ration about the girls knew how to properly include the R, which I learned when I worked in New York, because I used to be made fun of when I would say the words charge that, charge that.
Charge
I
that.
learned to say charge, and it never went away, and it rubbed off on my daughters.
That's funny. Well, listen, the first thing I think of when I think of them is absolutely just what huge snobs they are. My God.
There's one of them.
Well, and that makes sense because when Randy made the comment about all the accents, that's all I've been thinking about for like the last 20 minutes. So
Oh, you are a snob in New York, aren't you?
I just said I was thinking about it. No judging. And while I'm speaking, love you all. Love all of this. And like everybody keeps saying, and I said to my father the other day, I just wish I could physically give you a hug, but sounds like soon enough I will be able to do that, Randy.
Tomorrow night, you and I.
Well, tomorrow night, but I'm
Yes.
talking Randy and
Of course.
Uncle Tim, unfortunately.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Love you.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be obviously sending out all the details about the Peabody Memorial Service as soon as they are known, which is not yet. So good to see you, Stephanie. Snobby Stephanie.
You too,
Your
Lisa.
background, your background makes it look like you're in some crazy Netflix show or something.
That's what I want everyone to think.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. I want to make sure everybody has had a chance to say anything, so feel free to interrupt me if you're so moved. But otherwise, if everybody is done, I just want to say thanks again to everybody for coming. I do think it's so important to remember Arleen, but also to recommit ourselves to, telling each other we love each other and seeing each other, and maybe not only when something like this happens, let's make time for each other and get together and hug each other. And thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you all so much. It has been so wonderful to see all your faces. Please know my father and I went through every little block, and everybody's face has been seen and recognized and felt right here. And we really so appreciate it. This has been, as challenging as it is, also something of a reprieve from the loneliness that such a loss causes. So gosh, thank you. And, I'm going to oddly say, God bless all of you. I really, 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 really appreciate it and love you all. Thank you.
And Lisa,
Love you
thank
too.
you.
Of course. Yeah.
Thank you
Love
so
you
much.
guys.
for doing such a good task. Love you. Love you all.
Thank you, everybody.